Hello, friend. If it's your first time here, I want to welcome you to the collective. And if you are returning, I'm super happy to see you, and I really hope that things are going well for you. In this reading, we are focusing on what it is that is keeping you from moving forward. What mental blocks or barriers are keeping you trapped in this place that you are in, that's just, that you can't move forward. And a lot of times, you're like, it's obvious, but here's the thing. I'm a very solution-oriented person, but in order to know the best solution, we have to actually understand what the underlying problems are. So let's use these cards to help us find what our underlying problem is, so that way we can start to work on these blocks and move forward. The wounded child. Healing trauma makes the world feel safer. So obviously right away we're being called out and learning that this is a inner child wound. And when it is the wounded child, this is going to take some shadow work. This is going to take you having to be real honest about things that happened to you in your past and being real honest about how you felt about it. The best way to go about this is either journaling or talking to someone about the things that happened to you. Trauma happens. It's not great, and it comes in various forms. And if it's something that you've been trying to avoid or been trying to hide from, it's not doing you any good. We need to work out that wounded child, and we need to give that child a chance to feel safe again. Anger. Restoring boundaries, reclaiming balance. If you've been with me, you know that anger for me is just a neutral emotion. It's what you choose to do with the anger that makes a difference. Are you going to get angry and destroy things, which sometimes is a good thing, or are you going to get angry and you're going to use that to heal things? Now, what do I mean by get angry and destroy things as sometimes a good thing? You know what? Sometimes you need to burn bridges. Sometimes there's people in your life that are toxic and you just need to be like, you know what? No, I'm not putting up with this anymore. I am done. And then you walk out. Anger can be used in that positive way to help you restore your boundaries. Anger in a way of healing, I like to remind people that, when you stress clean, when you get angry and you clean your house, that is cleaning your house. That is healing yourself. That is healing. Another way that you can angry heal is more for somebody else, but when the classic example I give is a mother is trying to, work with their child who is sick. It's one of those where they will aggressively stay up all night to do whatever it takes to just, stay by that child's side, to break their fever, to do what they have to. It's a different type of anger, but it's still anger. And it's still one of those things where anger is something that you can use to create, or you can use anger to destroy. It's up to you to choose, but anger is your power. If you're angry, it's because someone's not respecting you. Someone is hurting you, and someone is treating you in a way that isn't good for your heart, isn't good for your person, your being. And that probably 100% has to do something that happened to you in your childhood. Integration. Ushering experience into wisdom. Integration is one of those things easier said than done. Integration, classic examples for integration and what it really means is if you were to go to nursing school and you can do everything you want to learn how to become the best nurse, but none of that stuff matters until you apply it to a patient. Also, it's like making a recipe, okay? So you get a recipe to make the perfect cheesecake and you have this perfect recipe. Great. Well, that recipe doesn't make a squat difference unless you actually utilize it to make the perfect cheesecake. And then when you do make the perfect cheesecake, you find out that somehow you still got a crack in it because you know what? That's life, unfortunately. So here's the thing. Integration is you taking knowledge and applying it to a situation. It's literally applying the knowledge that you've learned. So integration is you having to actually do the things that is going to make your life better. But a lot of times you're going to fail. And I don't mean that in a way to discourage you. I mean that in a way to just let you know that that's 100% part of the process. Because the first time you do something, you're probably not going to get it right the first time. That's not a normal expectation. And why society has us believe that it is it's honestly bullshit. So understand that integration and ushering experience into wisdom is one of those things where you can look back at your life and you can be like, okay, this is why X, Y, and Z happened. Now, how do I prevent it and go make sure that I have A, B, and C work in my favor? It is about you taking your experiences, you taking all that you've learned and choosing and making different choices, so that way moving forward, you can have a life that feels more comfortable and is more healthy for you. The wounded adult. Healing is feeling. Okay, so we have wounds from childhood to all the way through adulthood here. The cards are calling you out. I want to point out though that like this card's little message here is healing is feeling. So whoever you are, let yourself cry. Let yourself scream in the car or into the woods or into your pillow. Take a shower and cry if you need to. That is my favorite place to cry. Why? Because it helps with the headache that you might possibly get. You need to allow yourself to feel. Repressing those emotions and stuffing them in a bottle or stuffing them in a pipe or whatever it is that you're doing to make sure that you don't feel whatever it is that you need to feel isn't doing you any good. It is literally the block that is keeping you from moving forward, because until you go through and work with these emotions, you're not going to move forward in any way that feels healthy or happy to you. So straight up, if you're coming to this channel and you're wanting me to tell you, oh, things are going to get better, just trust the process, I'm not going to do that unless I know you're doing the work. So if you want to see your life change, if you want to get these blocks removed, you need to do the work. You need to work through those emotions. You need to allow those emotions to come out. You need to be willing to be honest with yourself in whatever way that works best for you. That be journaling, that be talking to a friend, that be vlogging. There's multiple ways that you can be honest with yourself and work through your emotions. 100%, nothing's going to change until you do that. So now let's ask the tarot cards exactly, okay, that card literally fell out. Let's ask the tarot cards what it is that has got us into this position, that has led us believe that our poor coping mechanisms are the right coping mechanisms, and have kept us trapped in this feeling of, I can't make the change I want to make, because if I make the change I want to make, then you know what? My whole world's going to fall apart. So we got Queen of Cups here. Queen of Cups is you having compassion for yourself. It is you knowing how to express your emotions in a healthy way and seeing yourself for everything that's really going on in your life. The Queen of Cups is the most gentle queen, the most loving queen, and this queen is needing you to be you. You need to be this to yourself. This isn't someone else coming into your life being this person for you. This is you being this person for yourself. And this card tells me that you have the ability, the know-how, and the knowledge to do it. You probably just apply it to everybody else instead of applying it to yourself. But it's now time for you to do this for you. And then we have the King of Pentacles. So this is about, well, first I want to talk about Pentacles being more than just about finances. It's about your time and energy, because you spend time and you spend energy. But the king is the action-oriented figure of the earth element. So this is you doing the work, planting the seeds. This is you understanding that it's going to take time, that it's not going to happen overnight. The King of Pentacles is the one king who completely understands that every season has a reason. He doesn't try to rush fall. He doesn't try to rush winter. He doesn't try to rush spring or summer. He understands that everything has a process in a natural planning state. So when I see the King of Pentacles here, I see that you are being asked to take action with your energy and with your resources and, do it in a way that is considerable. Do it in a way that is you planning out your future, planning out what it is that you're going to do, what you're going to put time and energy into. Because this king does not sit by idly. He might have patience, but he does not sit by idly. He knows that while his seeds are growing, he needs to be doing other things. So what is it that you need to start actively do in your life to plant the seeds to make the change that you're looking for? Because right now, I feel like we're just doing the same thing over and over again, and we're making no changes. So what is it that you can do? Then we got Temperance in its reverse position. That is exactly what this integration card is all about. 100%. You just got the same card twice. Temperance in its reverse position is you applying the knowledge. is you working through it and you getting frustrated because why isn't it working? Why isn't it working out the first time? Why is it not perfect? How come I keep messing this up? It's because it's part of the process. It's because as you mess up, as you fail, as you keep, working to get it right, you keep learning more about yourself. You keep letting go of things. The doing and the applying of the knowledge and the failure has a bit to do with the fact of this wounded child and this wounded adult who have never gotten the chance to be heard. Part of the reason why things aren't changing is because if you're okay, for example, if you have a self-help book and the self-help book is just do A, B, and C and everything's gonna be great. Okay, cool. You did, A, which told you to meditate. You did B, which told you to write goals. And you did C, which told you that you needed to journal. But if you are just doing these things at surface level and you're not allowing yourself to go deeper into what the real problems are, that's part of the reason why you keep failing. Because you're not going to be able to get yourself to a place to make lasting changes that are effective if you're still just, sweeping dirt under a rug that is over a mile high now. You need to start cleaning out that dirt. You need to start letting those emotions come out. And then we have the Chariot. This is beautiful because this is telling me that you will succeed. You just have to do the work. The Chariot is also all about balance. The Chariot does not like to be just in the light or just in the dark. The Chariot likes to be both, because the Chariot knows how important the light and the dark both are. So yeah, it's one of those where, it's a matter of you being practical, doing the mundane, but it's also a matter of you going within and doing the work, doing the shadow work, talking to those parts of yourself. If you start actually working with those emotions, if you start actually giving yourself the chance to be honest about the reality that you have gone through and that you have lived through, you're going to come out a warrior. And that's an amazing thing to see. So now I want to ask the cards what it is that you can do to help you get into these emotions, that can help you reinforce these boundaries, that can help you as you keep making the changes that you need to make. Because this King of Pentacles is sitting here and he's just you have the ability, you have the know-how, you have the knowledge, you have all the resources. It's just about you managing your resources, managing your time, and saying that I can do this. So let's just find a few quick answers on what is going to help us to get through this. What is going to help us, not even find the answers, but just get in touch with the inner truth that we've been denying, because there's just something that you're hiding from yourself that you're refusing to acknowledge. So let's get to that. Dust Devil, moving out of stagnation. Okay, so that's 100% what we've been talking about with you having to actually focus and work with those emotions. I really don't even know that I have to talk more about that card because it's literally what I've been saying this whole reading. Horseman, Herald of Change. So yeah, doing this is going to change things. And the Horseman, Herald of Change, and the Chariot are practically the same card as well. So we've gotten two practically repeat cards. Because the point of this is that you have to do the change. You have to be the one to make the difference. So this horse is just, rearing up to do things, to get things moving. And this is you. This is you having the ability to do the same thing. You just need to be the one to, ride into it and make the change. Empty well, time to replenish. So this is important too. If you have been burning the stake at both ends and you have been neglecting yourself in all parts of your life, then before we can even do the shadow work, we just have to do enough to get spoons. You have to do the work to be able to find peace, to find happiness right now with what you have. If you have an empty well, let's fill it up and then let's get ready to do some work. And then lost compass, getting back to integrity. Again, it's about being honest with yourself. The more honest you are with the self, the more you're willing to let yourself do the work, to deal with the emotions, to, really be honest about what it is you're feeling and what you felt and what, you need moving forward, then integrity is going to become easy. But it's easy to have integrity when it comes to being at work and it comes to being, other people. But having integrity with yourself and being honest with yourself, that's the hardest one. So let's get this compass back on track and let's do what we need to in order to move forward. All right, let's ask the cards for some encouragement and a little bit of direction, because there was a lot with this reading, and it was one of those where, being told you have to be honest with yourself and that you have to do the work and you have to, stop shoving your emotions down. It's never an easy message to receive, and I give it all the time, but when it's come and thrown back at me, it's still hard for me to work through sometimes, depending on what it is. So I get it. Clarity. Gain a clear understanding of what you truly want. That's important. And that goes 100% back to this wounded child card, because I can bet you that you are somebody who had dreams and ambitions and wanted to do something, and then society or your parents or your grandma or somebody told you, no, that's not what you're going to do. You're going to become a doctor. You're going to become a lawyer. You're going to follow in the family footsteps. You got to do what we want you to do. And that's where you're at. That's why you are where you are. Receptivity. Receptivity. For some reason, that was hard for me to say today. Be open to receiving love and abundance. So this one is actually kind of the hardest message for me to explain, because you're like, I can receive gifts. That's not a problem. But can you receive compliments? Can you receive a friend who's willingly going to be like, hey, I see that you're hurting. What can I do to help you? Are you willing to receive someone who says, it's okay, it's not your fault, sometimes stuff happens, but yet you take the blame anyway, even though everything was outside of your control? Are you truly open to receiving love and abundance? Then we have generosity. Be generous with your time, energy, and resources. So this one is a good one to remember that it's not just about being generous about your time and resources. When I get this card and I see that it says, be generous with my energy, it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, I'm going to be generous with my story. I'm going to be generous with my truth. I'm going to be generous with my compliments. I'm going to be generous in ways that I can, because I understand that you still have this empty well. I'm not negating that. But your generosity doesn't just have to be gifts. It doesn't have to be doing things for people. It doesn't have to be acts of service. There are other ways that you can be generous. And the more authentic your generosity is, the more you're able to reveal yourself to yourself. And that goes with that integrity card. We had integrity in one of these. And it's the same thing. Yeah, that goes with the Lost Compass card, getting back to integrity. If you are being authentically generous, that's going to help you find your integrity too. Love yourself. Self-love is the foundation of attracting love from others. Once again, the last card is the perfect wrap-up card. I swear I don't understand how they do this, but they do it almost every time. So love yourself. Truly love yourself for who you are. Not for who you were supposed to be, not for who society wants you to be, not for who your family wants you to be, but for who you truly are. And I'm here to tell you that the hardest person for you to love is going to be yourself. No one has an easy time loving themselves authentically. Because if we have to love ourselves authentically, that means that we have to look ourselves in the mirror and we have to be like, wow, this is who I am. And there's things that I can do better. And I still have to love all of that. And yeah, it's true. So give yourself the opportunity to love that child that is wounded, and give yourself the ability to love that adult who is wounded and heal them the way that you needed it then. Or maybe the way you need it now. Maybe you are currently the wounded adult. Give yourself that healing. Love yourself through the situation. If you're not sure what that even looks like, or if you've never received love and you want, to understand where to even start, hit us up in the comments. There is a community of people. We love to help each other. And if you still are unsure, there is a chance for you to receive a private reading if you go on the link in the description below. I do have available dates still. Go ahead and click on that link and I can get you more information that way too. And I do have the thing called a shadow reading, which is specifically to help with shadow work. So if you want that service, just click on that reading. I still have available dates for that as well. And that gets into the real hard stuff that will answer a lot of the questions that you might specifically need for this top row of cards here. And I just want to thank you so much for being a part of my collective today. I just want to remind you that you are never truly walking this path alone. There's a collective here, and we do support each other. We do love each other. I love you, and I'm so excited for your journey and for whatever is about to happen. I know that it's going to be hard, but I know that if you do the work and you come out the other side, you are just going to be so happy and so proud of yourself. So again, I love you and I wish you the best, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Bye-bye.